2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, Lock Consciousness now available, info in the description. So when you don't put forth all the energy available to you, all the energy that's been bestowed to you, and you're not playing all the hands that you have, then you can't move forward to the next hand, the next set, the next scene. So that's you really forcing life in reverse, because it's a resistance. It's a resistance to the process. So whenever you're not fully breathe, it really boils down to that inhale and exhale. When you don't fully inhale, then you don't fully exhale. So if you don't fully give, then you don't fully receive. It's like the further you try to get ahead of yourself, the more you fall behind. Life has no profits. It doesn't waste anything. It's complete. It's perfect. It's homeostasis. So whenever you're resisting like that, then life is going to give you a traumatic event to pull that energy out of you. It's like the more you resist, the more that you're hoarding and trying to fight the flow of life, and then you have to distract anyway to do that, because you have to stay in a state of separation. If you're in a state of oneness, then there's no fear in giving, because you get what you give and you receive from the place that you gave from. So whenever you're resisting like that, life is going to give you a traumatic event so that you can release the energy. So the trauma is going to happen, force the energy out of you one way or another, and then a lot of people, they resist even more. Then the trauma gets even deeper and more embedded, and then the spiral gets even tighter and more downward, however you want to look at it. But it's a continual regression and a continual deterioration process when you're like that, when you continue to resist, because it's like reverse force. It's really no different than when you're trying to give too much, when you're trying to push too much on life. It's the same thing when you're trying to resist and hold on to the chips that you have. But when you fully exhausted all the energy, then you get the energy starts to come back. And then the way you gave it is the way it comes back. Might not be in the same arrangement, might not be in the way you expect. I mean, usually never is the way you expect. It's the way you need. Because what you want is a fantasy. So that's what happens. That's why traumas happen. Or the traumas will happen either way. Even if the traumas do happen to the environment around you, if you're attached to other people and traumas happen to them and they pass or whatever, if you're breathing fully through it and you're giving fully through it and you're living life and letting life live through you, then when those traumas happen, you're in a different place than if you were in a different cycle of destruction, and if you were inhaling smoke or oil or drinking or eating foods because of what you feel like eating, which is mood foods, which is emotional eating. Whenever you're doing those type of cycles and then the trauma happens, then it's much harder to break the cycle. And the traumas are pretty much inevitable in a sense, because life has to make use of all the energy. So when people are resisting, and there's going to be people always resisting, it's always going to be the different lessons in the external world, people showing you what not to do, and making that example. So as long as that exists and persists or insists, however you want to look at it, it's important that you let life flow through you, so that when those things happen, you don't feel any regret. You don't feel like you weren't fully utilizing everything. And it just comes down to fully breathing, fully inhaling, fully exhaling. That's your pendulum. If you live from that place, then you'll give from that place. You'll fully give, you'll fully receive.